Hello, Eugenija Tau with Heart Over Me and for Heart Over Me community. Today I have to talk with beautiful friend of mine from the UK. Across the ocean, I think we just land in your house. And as always, I would like to ask you to introduce yourself. What is your essence of your life?
The what of my life?
What is the essence? What is the essence of
Oh,
your life?
the essence of my life is to feel connected with all that is, so that I feel the joy within of life, of living, so that my essence is to improve this waking up and not just getting glimpses of, wow, look at that with the trees and the light, but to wake up and feel the joy of life. And that's what I'm working on every day. And some days I don't manage it.
So if I understood, you feel mostly happy if you connect with a joy, with a common joy, with a joy of the of not watching as observers something and seeing, oh, that's beautiful tree, but becoming one with a beautiful tree,
Yes.
harmony.
Yeah. To feel that connection. And so that just isn't just the tree, but it's with my dog, with another person, with people, with sound, with water running, to become one with that sound. And it takes time to do that, because you have to train yourself to see, and you have to train yourself to really listen, because our brain is listening to so many things. It
Yes.
filters out loads, and then our mind is full of things that we're not listening properly. So I'm working on listening properly and seeing more clearly, and
So
then
how do you
feeling.
connect? Are you just see how the connection happens? Are you going to your heart and then through your heart connecting to the something you want to connect?
I turn off my phone and don't take it with me,
Okay.
first of all. Yeah. And so if I'm walking in the woods, I have an intention that I'm going to walk in the woods now. And I don't think, oh, I'm opening my heart. I just think, I want to walk in the woods and connect with nature. So I do all these things that I can through my body, which is seeing, listening, feeling.
Wow, that's amazing. Can you? I know we know each other. We know each other from a festival
Mm.
in the UK in the Emerson College 1.5 years ago, where we met, and by accident we have just happened we have been dancing together. And
Mm.
since this moment, I remembered something very special inside of you, the very strong willingness, the power. And then when you meet in a huge festival where are many people, and just suddenly you realize the person you are dancing with, somehow you are connected with her and you know her from very long time. That's what happened with you and me when we met first time. So uh, please tell me about what happened to you before, how much heart was in your life.
I think my heart's been in my life a long time. I think it started for me with when I was little with my family, and probably losing my father, watching him die when I was 7, and realizing how much I loved him.
Uh,
I think, and experiencing my mother's grief and the pain of that for her. I think that opened my heart, the beginning of it. But also, at times in my life, my heart's been closed because I've experienced, an abusive stepfather, etc. So once my heart opens, doesn't mean it stays open all the time. It would close at times, but as I've got older, it's trying to find a place where the anger is left behind and you move on from these situations, so you come back into your heart and a place of love. And that's how my life's been, a journey of opening and closing. And as I get older and become, I think, maybe you might say more spiritual, is having gratitude and looking for forgiveness, and forgiveness for myself for all my own mistakes, which I've made a lot of.
What do you think? What you say, it is opening and closing the heart. When you have felt more safe being with open heart or being with closed heart, and how to manage to be in the middle, or what
Yeah,
is the
that's
best? It is best to be open-hearted, closed-hearted.
a good question. Yeah, it's a good question. I think to always strive to come from a place of love, that's really important. But in life, not everyone comes from that place. So you also need to be able to develop a sort of not closing your heart, but to be able to stand back from people or situations who are not open-hearted, who want to take things from you, who don't necessarily come from the same place as you. So in a way, you might say it's protection of your heart rather than a closed heart. But sometimes you can, or I can only speak for me, that I may have experienced pain in my life in the past, that my heart just closes, and then I completely switch off from everything, and then I feel I'm filled with negativity. That used to be the case at times, but less so now. And so I think for me, with the biodanza that I've done and my sound healing and my other spiritual work, it's working through my life experiences and coming into a place of love. I think that's, for me, if you ask my question where the essence is, it comes from that, but it doesn't happen overnight. You have to work through these situations because we all carry baggage, and it's important to offload this baggage because it's been carried since, maybe for many since childhood. It doesn't serve us anymore. It keeps us away from opening our heart.
I know you have been working all your life as nurse, and especially in those situations, you have been facing many situations where it was, I can imagine how difficult it was for heart. It was heartbreaking situations. How you have
Sometimes,
been
yes.
dealing, and this is exactly now is very important because as
Yes.
we know what is going on in the world, and we know that we are seeing at home, we are not seeing it, but there are people facing those situations each day, and especially medical people. Do you have advice for them how to protect their heart, like how not to close completely and to become ignorant? But
Well,
how to deal with that? What is your experience?
well, I haven't experienced something such as this pandemic. When I've been nursing, for example, very ill and dying children, I was never working thinking, or children with like leukemia or cancer, and many of them were dying. I never expected that I would catch this. But when you're working like many medical staff now with the fear that you might contract this, you might get this, it's different. It's much harder than to protect yourself because you have the fear. But I think that nurses and doctors, they are trained and they are dedicated to caring for these staff, and they go into a very professional mode of caring, and probably sadly they haven't got enough protection for themselves at the moment. And it's a very difficult time to do your job the way you want to do it when there is an element of fear that you're not fully protected and you have children of your own or family. So I think that they work together very closely, and I think the medical staff support each other very well, and they help each other. I think they help each other to be strong. But it's important they have protection, physical protection, in order to protect them psychologically. It's very hard for them at the moment.
Of course. And I was I hear like in Spain, in Madrid, in the hospitals, the doctors before starting work in the shift, they do chanting in order they can
Yeah.
raise vibration. And that's also, I think that was your journey, how you came to biodanza. Like, you have been in medical system and working over the world. With which organization have you been working, nursing?
Oh, I've worked all over the world, actually,
Yeah.
not just one. I worked for the National Health Service, but I trained in Great Ormond Street, which is a sick children's hospital, and I did my adults in London. But I went to Amsterdam and I worked there with drug addicted babies and premature babies. And before that, I went to Canada and I worked in the prairies with Native American Indian children.
No.
And then I've been doing various things. I was a ward sister for children with leukemia. I worked in industry in an iron foundry, and then as a practice nurse in the community.
So, and then something happened in your life, and what it was,
Yeah.
it was completely shift on your life, because this medical system you are helping and it doesn't help, and that also opened door for another things in your life, as like for sound healing. If you would you like to share a little bit about it?
Well, I've always been interested in sound. I'm a classical singer, so I know how voice. I've always been interested in music, and it's very calming. And when I had my diagnosis of breast cancer and the treatment, I decided to give up nursing and to work more holistically. So that's when I decided to buy my first gong, and then I bought lots of instruments.
Oh,
It's very addictive. And then I started to do workshops, and I could see how people would come up and they thanked me. But what I loved was to see how totally relaxed they were. And I think these days to relax is so important internally, where the brainwave slows down, and
definitely.
that's when we restore. And there's something very beautiful about seeing people, 30 people lying on the ground together in peace and some sleeping. There's something very powerful and healing.
Yeah.
For me too, as well as them. And so that's what I do now. And I see some very good results, especially some people who come in with cancer. It really helps them.
So you're also offering, as I know, you're also doing in hospitals.
Yeah, in a cancer recovery center.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you are doing your sessions, not only you're offering for free for the cancer recovery center for
Yeah.
staff and also for patients.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. Yeah.
and also what I also have seen now, you're offering each Friday you are making groups on Facebook.
I'm offering a free live sound bath this Friday.
Wow.
It's on the Facebook. Yeah, the details are there on the events. Yeah,
Perfect.
9 p.m. at 9 o'clock UK time.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I will join. I love it, and I will join for sure.
Yeah. Put your pajamas on and use your headphones. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
need the headphones. Yeah.
Sure. Please also let me know how biodanza came in your life, how it happened, what does it mean? I was there, that's where we met. It was the festival of biodanza. But and it was so interesting because it was like dancing. We started dancing. It happened. We started dancing together, and then I realized that you are a facilitator also of the biodanza London School, and when you started leading the section, wow, it was so powerful. And I realized like I love dancing. I was dancing all my life. I was always responsible in the big parties to make people to dance. So I love it. But if somebody would told me that you should make a course about dancing, I would say no, thank you. I know I can express myself. I listen to music, but what I experienced there and with you, it was completely something different. Can you please?
With biodanza, It's the dance of life, and it's actually every exercise is done with an intention.
Mm-hmm.
So we just get up and dance,
Yeah.
but intention's really important. And there are different types of exercises with intention, which include vitality, creativity, sexuality, transcendence, and affectivity. And it's in each exercise, it's about being present in the moment. And when you're present in the moment, you would experience what we call a vivencia. It's an experience with great intensity.
Yeah.
And so what we experienced, you and me, was because you also was experiencing a moment of great intensity, and I was as also, and we shared that. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why it was so powerful. No words are necessary. So a vivencia, the vivencial experience is really important in biodanza, and it's amazing self-developmental process of experience through
And as
music
I
and
understood,
movement.
and as understood, that's why it is very important to choose the right one facilitator who understands deeper meaning of it, and who is able to guide on the hand in the visible and invisible system.
Yes.
And that's why it is like I was lucky, like I was first time in this kind of things, and I got you experience facilitator in the couple, and what I
Yeah.
experienced, it was so profound. It was really. Can you tell a little bit about the system, how it works of your dancer?
Well, it's a big thing to talk about.
Just
It's a
something.
system of, basically, it's a system of self-development using music, movement, and positive feelings to deepen self-awareness. And it seeks to promote the ability to make a holistic link to oneself,
Yeah.
and one's emotions, and to express that.
Yeah.
So basically it's that.
Are you offering it also online?
I'm not doing that yet, because I'm doing sound. Other people are. I will be doing it online, but I have to work out the technicalities to get the sound right. But you can get it online, and I can give you details of that.
Oh, perfect. And we can share also with other
Yeah,
link. Now,
yeah.
if you allow, maybe we can go to the current situation, because as nursing over the world in the places where you have been facing many challenges, you have been coming, it is the pain of parents, you have been living it, you have been seeing children dying. And now we have this situation, what is going on? How do you live? Where are you in this? Are you in the fear? Did you feel the pressure from the collective on you? And how you say, no, it's not me?
Well, for me personally, I live in the woods,
Mm-hmm.
and I live out of the city, and it's very easy for me to isolate physically and go in the woods and walk and have deliveries.
Yeah.
But it's very difficult for people who are in apartments. My daughter is in the front line on working as a nurse in the hospital where there is much coronavirus. She works on the cardiac unit, and already some of the staff that she works with have had it.
Wow.
Also, her partner had it a month ago.
Wow.
And so, every day I'm concerned for her because there's not enough protecting equipment, and there's no test to see if she has immunity. So I worry for her every day.
Yeah.
So that's a personal thing for me. But basically, I can get out and I can walk. But many people are unable to be mobile, and they're completely stuck. And I think for some, the visiting care is reduced. So it's very isolating, very lonely. The same for you, same for everyone all over the world. People are learning to live with themselves and experiencing time maybe for reflection, experiencing loneliness at the same time. doing new things, maybe cleaning the house, reading more books, writing, but it's much easier for me.
Yeah.
But it does give me time to reflect on my life and my wonderful family and friends, and how blessed we all are with the friends and family we have, and how often probably I've taken them for granted, and
Yeah.
I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah. And that's what I loved yesterday when we connected short, to speak about an interview today. And you have been saying something which touched my heart very deeply. And you have been making compare between the time you have been facing difficulties when you had the diagnosis of cancer and it was only your problem. And now
Yes.
you see this collective problem.
Yes, that's right. When I
And
had breast cancer, it was my problem.
yeah,
But now we're all sharing
yeah,
of, whatever I'm feeling, many others are feeling the same and worse and more. Yes. So it's a big problem for all of us. And
yeah.
that's why doing the sound healing, I can help in some way
Mhm.
for people to come together and hear something live,
Yeah,
but to be able to relax. So they're joined with other people,
yeah,
and I'm doing something which is happening in the moment.
yeah. And that's what is also very important. Uh, you are saying that your colleagues, they are doing biodance through internet, which
Yeah,
few years ago, nobody could think about to make similar
yeah.
because it would say, no, it will not work, you know?
It works. It works. It's, but it's not the best way, but it is the only way at the moment, because biodance is about contact, and
Mm-hmm,
it's about physical contact,
mm-hmm,
and there's a big chunk missing with contact online.
mm-hmm.
But it's better than nothing, and we can see each other and we can connect with our eyes and
Yeah,
our hearts and
yeah,
feel a connection. So it's the best we can do, and it's probably in some ways easier for people that have done biodanza before to join an experienced class of
yeah.
people, but there are classes for people who are just starting. Yes,
Mhm.
but it's not an easy thing to do if you've never done it before online.
Another thing, what I loved, what you have been saying yesterday about appreciation, that you started appreciating things you never thought about, even like, walking, be able to go for a walk,
Yeah, that's right.
just stay at your home. Can you share a little bit more about it?
Well, I think for many of us, not just me, I've had moments of being down and alone and thinking. And then I realize, as I'm in my lovely house and I have a garden, I have woods, I can walk, that I have everything in my life I need. And
Yeah,
I appreciate, it's gratitude. So every day I'm praying and saying thank you for all I have. I'm alive, I can eat, I can go out, I am alive.
yeah,
And I can connect with my family, my children, my grandchildren. So it's made me realize everything I have, and how actually mundane, how not mundane, what's the word, shallow I can be, and thinking I need to buy another dress.
yeah,
We
yeah,
don't need all these things. We don't need all these electrical things. I'm making bread, and I think now I can't buy flour. So many people are making bread. They're going back to old ways of being and using up as much food as they can and not wasting it. So there is connecting with a better way of being in some ways,
yeah.
without that. We don't need to keep going to the shops. And maybe after this, many clothes shops will close because people realize they actually don't need to keep buying stuff.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Mm.
And what kind of devices we need, how many
Yeah,
devices we need, and
yeah,
where we are good in, what we can contribute to the world. I think now is the best time to get insight in our hearts and find what is the special not doing copy paste, like, you know, like when I started doing interviews, since then, 5 people I interviewed, they started also doing interviews. So it is like, and I'm watching, okay, guys, if you don't have your fantasy, do it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, but, well, we have so many skills, we have so many gifts, and now this is the best time to find it. And, you know, and I have to thank you for your time. And please share with us about the Sound Bath Fridays you are doing.
Yes.
Thank you for your work, and thank you for your
Thank you.
contribution to the
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.